dude, I mean, what's going on with Dak? I mean, there's no doubt if the Dallas Cowboys want to keep him the Dallas Cowboys quarterback and not mess with Texas in any way, shape, or form, they got to do it before week 1, right? Or
essentially.
Well,
hypothetically, you could do it later, but the best opportunity you have to get the deal done is before week 1.
So there's no collective bargaining agreement language that would prevent them from extending Dak during the season. No. Unlike the franchise tagging once, if you pass a deadline, you can't touch it until the next
This
year.
is more of a Dak deadline.
Okay.
In terms of he doesn't want to be thinking about the contract during the season. Either you ramp it up, you get it done now. Not to say it couldn't happen.
Right.
It would just be unorthodox, out of the ordinary for them to do it that way.
So I wanted to get those parameters before we dig in here.
Mm-hmm.
What's he asking for? 60 plus?
I think it's less about what he's asking for as much as it is this needs to be the perfect deal. I think that everybody realistically thinks 60 is the aiming point here. It's going to be about the way that the deal is structured.
What, cash? Cash, you're talking about like cash that he gets? Like how much of it is in cash?
It's going to be about
similar,
the
like
guarantees.
Mahomes doesn't have a top APY.
Sure.
But he's making the most cash.
Right. It's also about the guarantees and how they structure those guarantees in the future. Because the Cowboys long have done longer deals, and then they've had really strong cash flow at the front, but they buy up all those future years. They've also had, some of the mechanics and contracts have been, the third, if it's a 4-year extension, the third and fourth year aren't fully guaranteed at signing. So it's all these different things. And when you're Dak and his agent Todd France, you can sit back and go, we're going to win either way here. In other words, you give us everything now. You give us the exact contract that we want to sign, or we'll just wait until March, and then whether it's from you or somebody else, we'll get that, if not better. So for the Cowboys, they are having those conversations. There are negotiations going on. Do they get all the way to that point? It remains to be seen. I remember I mentioned back when I was hosting the show a month or so ago, like there is a pathway for this to get done.
How is it?
It would not shock me if this deal gets done prior to the start of the regular season, in part because as much as their organizational philosophy in Dallas has been to kick the can down the road on these things, and it took forever to get the CD Lamb deal done, they still don't have a new deal done with their head coach, Mike McCarthy. They still don't have a deal done with Dak. You're starting to see the wheels turning a little bit more here. They got CD in once they got back to Dallas. With Dak, if he leaves somewhere else in free agency here, what do you do at that position? Trey Lance is a very interesting developmental prospect, but he's in a contract here. They don't have a quarterback under contract for 2025. So what exactly is your pivot? Is it you're going to trade the farm to go get your friend Deion Sanders' son and draft him in the first round next year? Is it you're going to hope that somebody else becomes available by a trade? In other words, the unknown, as much as everybody, yes, has Dak won big in the playoffs? Has he won a Super Bowl? No. But he was one of the best quarterbacks in football last year, had his best season statistically and just from the eye test in his first year with Mike McCarthy calling the plays. These two guys, and they're both free agents. I mean, you could have a situation where they both leave and go somewhere together next year if you don't get these contracts done. There's a lot of reasons for the Cowboys to want to get this deal done. There are signs that they are motivated finally to get this deal done. But that's different than saying Dak is actually going to get the type of contract that's going to make him give up something that is so rare, which is the opportunity to hit unfettered free agency.
So, correct me if I'm wrong here on these facts. Dak cannot be traded without his consent. No trade clause, right?
Dak cannot be traded without his consent, which is the case with any top quarterback, too, because you're not going to trade what it would cost without getting a new deal in place.
But he's got a no trade clause. He's got a no franchise tagging clause. Correct.
Right. Most, though, franchise quarterback, most top players, in essence, have a no-trade clause. No-trade clauses are fun to talk about because there aren't that many of them within the league. Right. But anybody who's going to require... I mean, Brandon Ayuk effectively showed he had a no-trade clause, even though he didn't. Because you just go, I'm not going to sign anywhere else.
I'm just saying, I'm trying to go down one by one the leverage that Dak has here.
No-trade clause.
No-trade clause. Right. And he's got a no franchise clause.
He doesn't have a no franchise clause. It would be a third tag, which is 144% of this year's cap number, which is like $80 million. So again, effectively, no tag.
And if he leaves by free agency, it leaves a $40 million dead cap charge on the Cowboys.
It accelerates because they've turned it in future years it accelerates it into next year.
Okay.
Correct.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.